G'day. Welcome to Aussievision. This is Craig here, and with me tonight is Fleur. How's it going, Fleur?
Hi, hola.
Yeah, hola to you too. Great to be here.
Yeah,
We are
yeah.
talking about one of our favourite national finals of the season tonight. It is Festival da Canção, our favourite Portuguese national final, which comes up right at the end at a really good place in national final season, I think. It's not too crowded out by the others. You've got Melfest, but there's always on that, at the end of national final season, there's always that night where you can watch Melfest, and then once it's done, you can sort of like just chill and watch Festival da Canção for like 10 million hours afterwards. It's a great year as always, and we're so excited to chat about these songs. Um, but let's get let's get straight into this. I
Yeah.
think both of us have a clear standout in this lineup, which we want to discuss first, and probably to the surprise of nobody who's been following this particularly closely, it is Yolanda with Grito. Uh, Fleur, tell me about Yolanda. What are you thinking? Does this work? What do you like about this? What do you not like about this?
This absolutely works. Now, when we heard the first, like when I heard the songs the first time, I thought there's no standout here. But as this competition went, yeah, look, she's going to win this in a canter. This is by far the best package we have, and she can perform it. The staging is almost perfect. I don't think there's a lot they need to change if this goes through. We'll say if this is going through. Yeah, I'd
Don't
be
be too certain.
I
There's
know,
been too
right?
many shocks this year to be certain, I think.
There have been, but I look, second place is going to be a long way behind.
Look, I love the confidence. I don't
I'm very
disagree.
confident about this one. I wasn't
Yeah,
confident last year. Last year was a two-horse race, and I knew it was going to come down to the wire. I cannot see this year.
yeah, I think I'm with you. For a few reasons. I also, first of all, I want to say though, I agree that when I listened to this pack of songs to start with, I didn't necessarily hear a standout either. A lot of people were talking about Yolanda almost from the moment the songs came out. But when I was just listening to the recording, I was like, I don't know if this one, I think it's good. I like it,
Yeah,
but I don't know if it stands out to me particularly above any of the others. But then when I saw this in a live setting in the package that she had, it's just very impressive. Like,
yeah,
first of all, she's a very good vocalist. She hits both, there's a real confidence and strength to her voice. You're never worried about her hitting the notes.
yeah,
And she does hit some big ones throughout the 3 minutes. But also, despite the fact that this is a ballad, and she could just come out and I think stand in the middle of the stage, as people often now want to do at Festival de Cancel, and just perform it into a microphone, and it'd be very good and very enjoyable. But by adding those sort of backing dancers to this, it gives it a dynamism and a sort of artistic element, which I think really lifts this. It's not that it doesn't feel like it's not like some Pedro at Benidorm Fest earlier this year where you had like backing dancers and they were very distracting and felt quite inappropriate to what he was trying to do. This feels very in tune and it's a very coherent overall package, and the dancers sort of add to it rather than
yeah.
detracting it. So I'm really impressed by this, and I agree with you as well that I am more confident about this winning than I was about Mimicat last
Yeah,
year. Even though
absolutely.
Mimicat I thought was the most likely winner
Yeah,
last year, there was that element of Mimicat song didn't necessarily feel like the sort of thing that Festival de Canção jurors or televoters normally go for.
yeah.
This really does.
This
Like
does.
this is about as like this is the most Portuguese sort of if you're gonna imagine what
Yeah,
Portugal does is, this is what they do. And
yeah.
so like
Yeah. Modern art in the
mm,
Iberian way, and this is what. Yeah, yeah. This screams Portugal. This no other
it
country could pull
does.
this off.
Yeah, like other countries might try, but like I think like I love it. I think it's really good. I think it's really impactful. We can talk about how we think it might go if it does make it to Eurovision later, but
Yeah,
it's for me the clear standout in this
yeah,
lineup. But that's not, I think, let's be clear, that's not to detract from the other acts because there are plenty of other good acts in the final
yeah.
this year. Let's move to another one first. We've got João Borges, who is sort of doing
Yes.
his like lounge bar Måneskin act. He looks a little bit like he could be the fifth member of Måneskin, I think.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
what do you think about?
I love
Yeah,
his
what do you think of
aesthetic.
this?
I actually had electrofado. That's what I had written down in my notes. I love it. I love it. I think his vocals need to be polished
Mm,
slightly, but I love his aesthetic. I love his staging. Whatever he's doing, it's working. Um, this this is probably, well, I've put this down as my favorite because as a song I
Mm.
prefer it. But look, I know he's not going to win. And yeah, like I said, the vocals just aren't 100% there for me to say winner or contender.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
think
glad
that's
it's
fair.
there, and yeah, I just really
It's
enjoyed this
difficult to
song.
find anything to criticize. It's
Yeah,
not for me personally. I don't think this isn't a song that I really go for or like
yeah,
seek out, but I think it is well performed. I think it has a dynamism in a live setting, which not all the other ones do.
yeah,
And it's very impactful in that sense. And also, like, there were a couple of other more upbeaty sort of songs in the lineup, but I feel like a lot of them actually went out in the semis. And so this has an energy of and a pace to it, which is lacking in the other numbers. So I do
yeah,
expect it to stand out in a lineup. I think, quite honestly, there's maybe why I'm expecting Yolanda to win. I am now prepared for anything this year. And if I was going to pick one of the likely ones that could actually top her, I think this would be one of them.
yeah,
I think it would need perhaps a shot in the arm of, energy to get there.
yeah.
But there is something very likable about this, and I'm finding it difficult to find things to criticize. Um, Fleur, another actress we want to discuss, and an actress which was not on my radar at all before the lives, is Silk and his song "Change."
Oh
This
yes.
this is unhinged.
Oh my
Um,
God.
tell me, what do you think was going through everyone's head when they came up with this performance?
Drunk uncle at a wedding. This is 100% what it is. I love it. I'm glad
It's
it's
so
there.
good.
And it needs to be there because this gives the contest some life is not the exact word. It just gives it something extra.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's extra. If you haven't seen it, anybody, you need to.
It's worth sitting through once. I don't know if you'll necessarily sit through it again, but it's very much I was very drawn to it on Sunday morning when I first saw it, and I came away being like, "Oh my god, is this going to win?" But I don't know if it's good, but it's certainly very impactful.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd go drunk while it's at a wedding. There's something very Broadway about it, I think, in quite a
yeah,
retro way. Um,
yeah.
I love the spoken sections at the start. It feels very theatrical. I love like the Greek theater masks which the backing singers
Yeah,
have.
I actually have that. I love the backing singers that the sort of
Yeah.
it's almost gospel.
Yeah, it's like gospel, but also like there's that very like ancient Greek theater sort of thing where they've got the happy mask and the sad mask and we're sort of
Yeah,
switching them. I love
it
that.
is.
And then at some point he tells everyone in the audience to stop looking at your phone and watch me instead. And like iconic. Um, I I am very drawn to this. I think it would
Me
be the
too.
wrong choice for Portugal to send this,
Oh
especially
yes.
this year.
This year, yeah.
In another year, I actually wouldn't necessarily be against them sending something like this as a sort of like, let's throw the rules out the book. But if there's one year where I think Portugal should just stick to what they do best, it is
It's
this
this
year,
year.
because what they do best has actually got a chance of quite standing out and doing quite well, I think, this year. So
Yeah.
I love you, Silk. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Sunday. I hope I don't see you again after that.
Yeah.
Until
This
next year,
won't
anyway.
stand out. This wouldn't stand out this year at all.
No, it feels like Portugal's take on some of the other sort of quirkier entries we've got in Eurovision. And it's very good for what it is there, and I'm glad it's there. But I don't know if it would stand up once you put it in a lineup with like Just from the Netherlands or like Windows 95 band or all those ones. Um, but love it, glad it's there.
Yeah, me
Hope that
too.
he does well at least.
Yeah, same.
Um,
Hope he goes top 5.
yeah, another
Yeah.
act we want to talk about, and this is an act which I don't know if it stands out heaps, but I think we both really love it, and so we wanted to give him a shout out. Is Leo,
Yeah.
he's just a sweetheart, isn't he?
He
His song
is.
is called Dulce Misterio, and it's kind of like a gentle pop. It reminds me a little bit of Do you remember Deanna Castro with Ginger Ale a couple of years ago? It's
Yes.
got
It's
that sort
very
of like
much like
holiday
that.
vibe. Yeah, and I
Yeah. Yeah.
loved her. Still listen to her song. So I feel like there's something about this that just it's not a major standout. I'd be surprised if it challenges for the top of the leaderboard on Sunday, but it's just very likable and very
Very.
hummable, and he's so smiley, and
I
he's got
have that
he's
down.
yeah, no
Very
staging.
happy. And
He's got
his stage presence, it's like he wants to be there. And it's like, and you
yeah.
just cheer him on because it's, I'll go you. I love it.
Yeah, he's just such a joyous performer to
Yeah.
watch. And like he's got no staging. The guy's got like, 20 cents in a dream. But like it's very, enjoyable just to see him bring so much just as himself. Like he's just there and he fills the stage almost on his own. After I finished watching him, even despite the fact that there were bigger acts in that semi-final, I was like, that guy's going through. Like,
Yep.
obviously. So what a delight. I would love to see Leo come back next year with perhaps more of a team behind him. Because I think there's something really here to work with. And I would love,
Yep.
like, there's clearly some raw talent here. And it would be great to see that developed over a couple of years to sort of take him to the next level. Because I think there is something here. So great job, Leo. We love you.
We love you. I would have been disappointed if he had not got through. I would have been I would have been gutted.
Yeah, I was like, there were plenty of acts that did miss out getting through to the final that I was expecting to in the semifinals this year. But I am glad that he did make it. I think that was one actor I'm like, Portugal, you did the right thing. One other act that I wanted to highlight at this stage, which is an act that I think had a little bit of hype around it before the lives, but seems to have dropped off a bit, is Nomaka featuring Anna Maria with their song Aceita. Fleur, what do you think of this?
I actually like this song. This is one of my favorites from the whole season of the Festival da Canção. The only thing with this, there's a lack of staging.
Yeah.
I expect with this type of song, with them, given it's a band, I think it's a band with featured singer.
Well, it's a group. It's certainly
a group.
collaboration.
Yeah, I expected a bit more going on, but it's literally just them.
Yeah, it's more contemporary than some of the ballads that you get in Festival da Canção sometimes, and like I appreciate it for that. But I also think I was expecting a little bit more dynamism, and perhaps we've been spoiled by people like Yolanda, who are really.
Yeah.
I think Yolanda's almost revolutionizing a little bit what you can do with a ballad visually, like because it's just she's just got the balladiest ballad ever, but like that has a real dynamism to it. Whereas I don't know if this does. This is very sort of stand, sing, project, which is fine. There's a tradition of doing that at Festival da Canção and doing well. Maru did very well with a similar sort of actor setup to this, and so I'm not dissing the everyone stands in a row and just does their musical thing. I just don't know if this has the legs visually to compete with some of the other acts, despite the fact that it's quite a good song. I don't know. Do you have any other comments on that one?
As much as I like it, if this was to get through, it would be lost in the 37 songs at Eurovision. It would not stand out, even if they had great staging.
And that's despite the fact that this is a year where I think ballads are really well set up to do well. And even in that, noting that, I don't know if this would stand out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that. I don't think that bodes well for this one. But it's well sung, it's well performed, and I think it is a good studio track. I've got it on playlist.
It's on my Spotify. I love it.
Yeah. Fleur, any other finalists that you want to highlight briefly?
One song I do quite like is Christina Clara's song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually like it. I like the 60s vibe. I like the lounge 60s vibe that it gives. But for me, the staging is all wrong.
It's just very. I agree. Yeah. I think the studio track for this has an energy. It feels like you're sort of sipping an espresso in like a French cafe somewhere in 1963.
Yes.
And I'm here for that. Like that is a vibe. But as a 3-minute televisual spectacle, I just don't know if there's much to this. It feels like a really long 3 minutes.
That's right. But I like the song. But like I said, the song itself is quite nice. I quite like it. But when I saw it on stage, I wasn't envisioning this.
That was when I was surprised to see get through, to be brutally honest. And that's not because it's bad. I think she's a good performer. She's clearly got charisma, and it's a nice song, but it didn't strike me as being particularly competitive. And so I think I was surprised to see it advance, particularly when there are other things, and perhaps we'll discuss this later, which I was expecting to perhaps leap out a little more. A couple songs that I wanted to highlight in the final, which I'm really fond of. There's two ballads in particular. One is Buba with O Farol, which I think translates to the lighthouse. And then there's Nena with Teorias de Conspiração, conspiracy theories. And both are just really nice and gentle. And those are those songs are the sort of thing I come to Festival da Canção for.
Yeah,
And I love to be surprised. I always love to see things sort of new, which is why I'm so into like Yolanda and why I'm so into Joao, for example, and even Silk entering this year. But Nina and Buba are both serving me what I expect when I come to the Portuguese national final and what I love it for, why I keep coming back year after year. And so there's a real gentleness to both of them. There's a real sort of delicateness. And I'm really bought in on the emotional nature of both performances. I also think that both of them do manage to avoid being static, particularly Nina. She does start off just sort of sitting on stage, but then she gets up and moves around and really performs for the camera. And so I think her in particular, I don't know if she'll win, but I could see her doing reasonably well on Sunday. So I'm excited to see how this goes. Do you have any thoughts on either of those?
I think of the two of them, Nena would probably finish higher
Yeah, that's probably
on
fair.
the table, I would think. Yeah.
Buba is very sort of more traditional fado, sort of old-fashioned
True.
Portuguese ballad, I think. But there's a place for that, I think as
so.
well.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I'm glad both of them are there.
Yeah, both I expected both of them to be there, and I am glad that
Yeah.
both of them are there. Fleur, before we go, we've spoken
Yeah.
for a while. I just wanted to return to the question of who you think Juventus are doing to win, and if they do win, how you think they might go at Eurovision. So, would I be right in saying that Yolanda is your best guess for who's going to win this year?
Yeah, that is 100% my best guess for this year. Yeah, like I said, I think she's got this in a can, and I'd be shocked if someone else gets through. I wouldn't be disappointed because there are some other songs there that I quite like, but
Yeah,
this one I think is their strongest chance to actually do well at Eurovision.
yeah. And how do you see it going if it makes it?
I think she can do quite well. We are starved of ballads this year, particularly female ballads. So I think for that reason, she will be a standout.
Yeah, I think this is a year where something like this really does have a chance to do not just like slightly well, but actually really well.
Yeah.
But until I saw her live, I was perhaps writing Portugal off a little bit this year.
Yeah.
But once I saw this, I was like, this is so impactful and so well performed that I think it has the pull for a televoter in the semi-final to pull it through. Because televoters do like ballads, so long as they're good ballads, and this is a good ballad.
Yeah.
And then if and when it makes it to the final, the jury's they're gonna froth this, they're gonna love it.
Yeah, I think so.
And so it's so creatively satisfying in terms of the visual, but also she's just really good. So I have absolutely no doubt that this is going to actually do quite well for Portugal. I think it could be like, obviously, I was about to say their best result in years, but they've been doing really well. So I could certainly see for Yolanda a result that is more a return to what Maru or what the Black Mamba got than perhaps what Mimi Cat got last year.
I was going to say that if this gets through, look, with the being a televote, this probably be one of the borderline qualifiers. Once it gets into the final, the juries are going to lap this up. This goes to the final. This is going left-hand side of the scoreboard. Definitely. It could even crack top 10 because
I agree.
Because there is this stands out.
Yeah, I mean, really,
nothing is like it this year.
What's her competition? It's like Teodora from Serbia, who is also really good, but I also think Teodora is probably going to do quite well for the exact same reason I think this is going to do well.
Yeah.
So I think things are really well set up for Portugal to
and
do
they
quite
differ
well.
enough with their market. I don't think they'd be competing for the same voters.
No, exactly. I mean, like, one is, Portugal has also Serbia sort of perhaps attracts a more sort of Eastern European audience, whereas you've got Portugal here, which maybe attracts more the Western audience. But that may be oversimplifying as well. Anyway, that's what we think. We're really excited to see the final this year. It's going to be the last national final of the year. It's been a long way to get here. So we're so excited to wrap it up this weekend. Thanks for joining me, Fleur. It's been a pleasure chatting with you as always.
Yeah, likewise, Craig.
And we're looking forward to maybe seeing Yolanda take out the trophy this weekend.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, guys. Cheers. Goodbye.
Ciao.